friends! Today is Apple and Pumpkin Day. Yes, we are going to do some investigating with apples and pumpkins. And to do this, we need a little book called My Apple and Pumpkin Book. And there's an apple and a pumpkin on the front. And there's also room for the scientist's name. Who would that be? That's right, it's you. So go ahead and put your name on it right now, and I'll do that too. There. Now we are ready. My Apple and Pumpkin Book. Scientist? Me. And yours will say you. So on the first page, it asks us to figure out which fruit floats. Now remember, an apple is a fruit. It has seeds inside. A pumpkin is a fruit. It also has seeds inside, right? So which of these fruits floats? How can we find out which of them floats? If we want to find something out, then we need to test it, right? Absolutely. So we're going to take a real apple and a real pumpkin. We're going to put them in this bucket of water and find out if they float. Let's try it with the apple first. Here we go. Well, it sank to the bottom first, but now it's floating. There's a lot of space between the apple and the bottom of the bucket. And if we push it down, it just kind of bobs along in the water. Having a good little apple-y time. So we can take our red crayon and color the apple because the apple definitely floats. Now, let's try the pumpkin. Do you think the pumpkin will float? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's put it in and see. Here you go, pumpkin. Look at that. Were you expecting that to happen? I'm trying to push it down, and it keeps popping back up. It doesn't want to go down to the bottom of the bucket. It floats. Yes, that's right. A pumpkin floats. Well, I guess we'd better get out the orange crayon and color that pumpkin. There, we've figured out that both the apple and the pumpkin actually float. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Now, the next page says the apple is, well, what color is the apple? This particular apple happens to be kind of a reddish and a little bit of a yellowish green on this side. So you can use both colors and color your apple. I'll color red on one side, and I'll color a little bit of yellow on the other side. Now, I need to write down that color. How do we write red? R-E-D. So I'm writing red. Depending on what kind of apple it is, you might have one that's just green, or just yellow, or just red. Or you might have one that's different colors. This one happens to be yellow and red. So I wrote red. And now I'm going to write and yellow. Y-E-L-L-O-W. Because my apple is red and yellow. There. Well, we figured out both fruits float, that we have a red and yellow apple, and now it's time to turn and see how many lines are on each fruit. So it says the apple has lines. Well, let's look and see the apple. Look very closely. Does the apple have lines on it? The apple is very smooth. When I touch it, it's very smooth. It's also very wet since we just had it in the bucket of water. But it's very smooth. It doesn't really have any lines on it. So I'm going to write down that it has 0 lines. The pumpkin, on the other hand, is bumpy. It has these lines that go down the side of it all the way around. So we are going to count how many lines that is. Now I'm going to make a little mark on the pumpkin so I can remember where I started. And then we'll count. So we have 1 line, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we're back around to where we started. There's 10 lines on our pumpkin. It's a pretty bumpy pumpkin. So I'm going to write the number 10, 1 and a 0. Now, other pumpkins might have more lines or fewer lines. Some pumpkins have deeper lines. Some are you can hardly tell that they have lines at all. This one is actually kind of tricky to figure out how many lines. But even though some pumpkins are different, they always have those lines on them, which is kind of cool. So let's mark down which of these has more lines. The apple with 0 lines, or the pumpkin with 10 lines. Which one has more? Yes, the pumpkin. So we're going to color our pumpkin orange because it has more lines. Okay, so I've colored my pumpkin to show that it has more lines than the apple. Next it says the pumpkin is what color? The apple had more than one color, but the pumpkin all the way around is just plain orange. So we're going to color the whole pumpkin orange, and then we'll write the word. Orange. O-R-A-N-G-E. Orange. There. So now we know which fruit floats. We know how many lines each fruit has. Let's turn the page and see what else we can find out. This fruit is bigger. Well, all we pretty much have to do is look at them, right? Which of these is bigger? I agree. The pumpkin is definitely bigger than the apple. I mean, it's taller, it's wider, it's definitely bigger. So we're going to color the pumpkin. Did you color your pumpkin in? Good. Now we have to decide which fruit is heavier. How do we determine which fruit is heavier? What kind of scientific tool do we use to measure which one's heavier? Right, if you want to measure how heavy you are, like when you go to the doctor, they may use a scale, right? So we're going to use a balance scale to figure out which fruit is heavier. This is a balance scale. Now, when we put something on one side it goes down like this side, like this. When we put something on the other side, this side goes down. Now, if one is heavier, it will go farther down than the other. All right, so let's put the apple on first. There. So the apple is heavier than the air on this side. Now, what will happen when we put the pumpkin on this side? What do you think? Do you think they'll be equal? Do you think the pumpkin will stay up in the air like that? Or do you think the pumpkin will go down? Well, let's find out. Oh my, the pumpkin went down, didn't it? If the pumpkin's going down, that means which one's heavier? Yes, our pumpkin friend is heavier. The apple is lighter. So we're going to, once again, get out our orange crayon and color the pumpkin because it is heavier. Now, friends, through the wonders and the magic of video technology, I have cut open the pumpkin because we need to count seeds for the last page. Look at this. So it says the apple has this many seeds, the pumpkin has this many seeds. So I have cut open this little pumpkin, taken out all the seeds, and put them all over the place. Now, I organize them in sets of 10, so we can count them in sets of 10. And that should help us out a little bit because counting one by one, that would take a really long time, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's count. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, 300, 310, 311, 312, 313, 314. 314. That's a lot of seeds. Now, I'm sure Clara Cow is going to want to know about this, right? After all, she helped us with this pumpkin. Clara, do you want to see how many seeds were inside this pumpkin? Yeah, that pumpkin? Well, I know to you it's a big pumpkin, but really it's really kind of a small pumpkin. And it had 314 seeds. Yeah, that is a big number. How do we write that? Well, you know what, Clara? I put them in sets of 100. Did you notice that? So this is 100, this is 100, this is 100. So how many sets of 100 do we have? Yeah, we have 3 sets of 100. Wow. Then we have a set of 10 right here, just one set of 10. And then we have 4 more over here. So 3 sets of 100, 1 set of 10, and 4 more left over means 314. That is a big number. I agree, Clara. All right, so we need to write this number on the line where it says the pumpkin has, and then there's a line, seeds. So we're going to write the number 314. 314. Wow, Clara. Who knew when you brought that pumpkin back that there were going to be 314 seeds? Incredible. All right, now we need to count the seeds inside the apple. How many apple seeds do you think we'll find in there? You're wondering too? All right, well, let's find out. The only way to find out is to cut it open. So let's get these pumpkin seeds out of the way. Woo. And we'll open up the apple. Now, I'm going to cut the apple sideways, this way, with my knife. Remember, you should never use a knife. Grown-ups can use a knife. So if you would like to do this at home, find a grown-up who can help you cut open an apple. Okay, in the middle of this apple, we can see sort of a star pattern, and I'm going to use my knife to open up the star pattern a little bit so you can see it better. I think I need to cut it a little bit more. There we go. So inside this apple, there's a star pattern. You can see this the 5 tails of the star, 5 arms. And there's a seed right there in the middle. And another seed. You can see they're a completely different color from the pumpkin seeds, right? My goodness, and they don't want to come out either. I think I'm going to have to really pick at this. Come on out, seed. Oh, there it goes. There's another seed. Ooh, it wants to get stuck in there. Ah! Well, I think the seeds are coming out of the apple. There's another one. 3. Woo! I think it flew. Oh, yep, there it is. There's another one. 4. And one fell on my lap. I just have to find it. Oh, there it is. It's on my foot. 5. Now I'm looking in the apple, and I don't see too many more seeds, do you? Well, maybe one right there. Yep, there's one more. There we go. So we only have these 6 little seeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all. An apple only had 6 seeds. Now, does every apple have 6 seeds? Well, we'd have to cut them all open and find out, right? But this apple had 6 seeds. Do apples have as many seeds as a pumpkin? Not even close. So, on our little book, we can write 6 for the apple. Because our apple had 6 seeds. Okay, so the apple has 6 seeds. The pumpkin has 314 seeds. Which one has more? Well, that wasn't a hard question, was it? Let's color in the pumpkin. Because the pumpkin, if I can find my crayon, the pumpkin does not have any problem winning that race, does it? There. My goodness. You know, I'm thinking, so many times we colored in the pumpkin. Both of them floated. The pumpkin had more lines. The pumpkin was bigger. The pumpkin was heavier. And the pumpkin had more seeds. What sort of contest would we have to have the apple win? Which one is more red? Which one can you eat with caramel? I think the apple would definitely win every time on that one, don't you? Yum, yum. Well, my friends, we now have investigated apples and pumpkins and learned more about them. I wonder what else you can investigate.